All right. So the game that we are seeing is one of the best games played by Alekhine, and it is played by Yates. Yates. Uh, right now it's undecided. Once you save that, it goes away. Cannot put it back. Alexander. Okay. Yates. All right. This is proper. Did I got it wrong? Frederick Yates. Anyway, it's
I
okay.
guess
We
they
don't.
don't have photos.
Maybe. Yeah. So the game started with a Queen's Gambit decline. Both parties made d4, d5, c4, e6. So there are some alternatives, like you can play the Slav defense with e6, or you can play the Queen's Gambit decline, which was played in this game. But you should not move this move. No, this is bad move because if you take this, then white will take the center, and if you take it with queen, then also white will again harass the queen, and black will lose one move. He can go here or go here, but actually now you can see that more pieces of white have developed now. So here black has unnecessarily lost a move here. So that's why uh, this is also another try which is very solid. E6. Now knight e6, knight c3, knight to f6. So these are normal moves. Now here you can also play the exchange variation. No, but Ali Khan didn't play the exchange variation. He went for the proper Queen's Gambit decline. Bishop g5, and Yates played bishop to e7. Nothing new under the sun. This position has been played thousands of times. Knight f3, and now supporting this knight to d7.
Mirrors, yeah, I think the knight on c3 was not played in the game so early,
Ah, yeah. So
if I
now
remember right.
I will tell you that why. This book written by Alekhine, no, and as per him, he played this move, Knight c3, and this one. But we will reach at the same position. No, don't worry about that.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll reach the same
okay,
position. But as per Alikhine's score sheet, he played Knight c3. But as per the Yates score sheet, this was not played. So there was a controversy. So yeah, e3 is played, and then castling. And now Alekhine played queen to c2. So at that time, this move was fashionable. Like after that, white played this castle move, you know, and it was fashionable. Okay, until in so this game was played in 1910, but there was a game between Teichmann and Rotlevi, which I don't have it, but it says that Teichmann versus Rotlevi, and it proved that this move is inferior, now. So theory
mm-hmm.
evolved after like hundreds of years. Theory evolves daily. Like one move is good right now, it may not be good afterwards. So that is
Yeah.
was there, because at that time there was no computers. People were only, guessing and making moves. Okay, but like Elikhan says that the move queen b2 is itself is not bad. Black should make the best reply. So the best reply here is c5. Yeah. You guys should play actively, and instead of castling, he should play rook to d1, directly focusing on this queen, because if and if white can actually then try to take it from here, if black takes it from uh, this move, which he normally plays this move, for getting his knight out. Yeah. So if that wins, so this should be the best reply, rook to d1. Then we have a position which is identical between the fourth and 10th games of the World Championship match Capablanca and Lasker, and offers equal chances to both white and black. You know, so as per Alekhine, this move is not bad. So he played that queen c2, but here Yates didn't play c5, and Alekhine he played b6. So Alekhine says that actually this plan is not good in the sense that uh, black actually should have strived to move this pawn forward, c5 or whatever, like c6 or whatever, and then he should have gone with this plan of putting his queen on a5 and putting this knight on b6, and putting further pressure on c4. And this is also pin, so he will some more pressure here, maybe put a knight here, and put some pressure on c3 and c4 squares, like this. So this was a plan which Ali can think that it was better if black had taken this plan, but black had other plans in mind, so he played b6. Now Ali can uh, played that move, c takes d5, and Yates played e takes d5. Okay, so here if he had played this, then he would have given up the center. Like this also was there, like or this or this. He could have given up the center. So all these pawns are very good in the center. So that's why it didn't make any sense to play knight takes d5. But better in this position is to play with the pawn takes pawn. Okay, and now you have bishop to d3. So simple developing moves. If I said to you that there is a game of calculation and combination, uh,
Mm-hmm.
nobody does a calculation combination on the first or 10th, ninth move, or no, like unless an opponent does something very very bad. You should not be thinking about combination right now. Like you should just take out all your pieces. That is a precondition. All your pieces should be on good squares. You should open your files. You should be putting your piece on the strong squares. And when you done all these things, maybe they take this rook out here and castle, and play all these good moves, then you will definitely find one combination in future. So yeah, so game goes on, like Yates plays bishop b7, and now Alekhine is known for this. He tries to makes his opponent uncomfortable by playing some move which is not in the book. And so now, if white had taken castle, then black could have played this move, and maybe he could have some counter play with this bishop d7 and then queen c. Then he has a good hold on e4, but Helicon didn't castle. He played the move. Uh, yeah, he played the move h4. So he just like now, white is not obliged to play bishop takes e7 because his bishop is protected by the pawn. Here. So he's not obliged to play bishop e7. So that's how he stops playing this move. Okay, so he can directly take this. If he plays this, then he can directly then take this, take this, takes. And there is nobody like before that. If this pawn was not there, then black could have taken this move, and if this was not there, then if he had taken with the knight, then the queen would have taken it this knight. So h4 prevents all this. Just by playing h4, he prevents all these things. So Yates played the move c5 now, you know, and c5 is a normal breakthrough in your queen pawn opening. You should always strive to play c5 and e5. Get this e6 pawn exchange to d5. That is the theory. So that is how like he played c5, and Alekhine now played castle to queen's rook side. So like on the longer side of castling. Now he has to be careful now. Like this rook can come here, and harass that. This both are on the same file. So if you are black, you will see all these things in an instant. That it could be a problem.
True.
Yeah. So black immediately goes for this pawn takes pawn. He opens the file, which he might use it for his future purpose. And he's given that if instead, I don't believe this is a good move, but if instead he had played c4, then Alekhine will have a square f5 for his bishop, no? And that could be a good square for the bishop, no? Let's say now white black should be aiming to get these pawns rolling, no? This pawn, and try to attack this for like all the attack of black should be here on the king, so these pawns will take a like a breakthrough, that so if he plays a6, and now Ellie can play e4, he has sufficient power, like this is guarding, this is guarding, one, two, three, and how many people are attacking? One, one, two. Okay, this if I take this, then only two people are guarding this, so
Mm.
it will be a problem. So that's why like c4 may not achieve that thing. Also, it will close the file, which the rook should be using it. So I think Yates played the best move in the position is to play pawn takes pawn. Okay, and Alekhine played king knight takes pawn. Here Alekhine gives that this was also okay. There was no problem with this. Either this or this, but Alekhine preferred to play the knight takes pawn.
Knight texture. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now Alekhine gives a variation that let's say now black tries this e4 formula, knight e4. Then white can play, oh sorry, not this. White can play bishop takes knight, new variation. Bishop takes knight. Okay, sorry, not this move. Okay, let's say he plays this move. Okay, uh, by reply to knight e4, he plays this move, knight e5. Like what is his threat that he wants to take the bishop, which is actually this is a good battery, this and this, they both are aiming at the h7, so that's why black is not able to dare move this anywhere else. Maybe he cannot take here also, but this h7 will fall if he does this. So knight e5, you know and I can play bishop takes knight, knight takes bishop with a check, with a check. Queen takes knight, bishop takes bishop, and now king to g1. Like then you can like Alekhine gives that he can play this rook here and place this pawn here, pawn to like 3, and then place this rook here. Sorry, this rook here, king rook q1. So this is the position Alekhine was aiming for if black had played knight to e4. if black had played knight to e5, that was the position that he was aiming for. Now, black didn't play knight to e5. He played rook to e8. So, so probably played so as to able to withdraw the bishop to f8. So he wanted to withdraw the bishop to f8. So he wanted to make the space and open his rook, so that now the rook can also bear some pressure here, on the e4 square.
Correct.
So now another thing was why he played rook e8 was he he thought that if white played now knight f5, he has some place to play put his bishop to. So those were the thoughts this. Okay, but Alekhine thinks that these were not good thoughts. Like instead, he should have anyway gone for this attack, like this one and then this one. No, that would have been better. Like some queenside play, he should immediately start his queenside play. If he doesn't start, like if you don't, like that black is very strong in this thing, queen side, because his white king is also expert, and white is very strong. Like he is aiming for king side. Like he has a rook here, he has pressure on f6, he has this h7. Anytime that knight can jump on f5, all kinds of things are there. But black is not taking advantage of his thing, no, which is like he can put this pawn here e6, and then he can further harass this. He can put a rook here. So these things black should have done, but he's not doing it. He's in a defensive mode. He plays rook e8, and now if you observe, like in our last variation of knight e5, that black was took this bishop with a check, and this bishop was also lost. So better is like he played king to b1 right now only, so that the bishop need not be exchanged with a check. So obviously Alekhine is planning something here. All right. So now Yates starts with the queenside activity, and now Alekhine starts with his own kingside activity. He plays g4. Now, will you take the pawn g4? Like, is it a sacrifice or not?
Mm,
It's not a sacrifice, right? Because you have pressure on
no,
h7,
it's not. It's not.
right? You have pressure on h7. So you cannot take this anyway. So Black continued with his plan, b5. But now Helican writes in his diary that we are on the 14th move, but this move actually is the cause of White's sacrifice on move 22nd. No, so we will see what he means by that. But anyway, if the instead of this, if Black had played knight to f8, then White could have still got some advantage by playing rook to g1. So now h7 is secured, like he was threatening to take the g4. So white can play rook to g1 to prevent this. Now if black starts with his plan, white still has knight to f5. Now this bishop cannot go back. Alright, and it's not good to put bishop. Maybe he can put it here, maybe. Yeah. But this was the plan that Ali Khan had in mind, like to bring more pieces nearer to the king. And yeah, so that's why uh, so this was the thought process. Like, but Yates didn't play this move. He played b5, and now Alekhine chose to exchange his bishop for the knight. And now, after doing that, he moves his pawn ahead. So, giving up one advantage of two bishops and taking some more space, and these pawns are coming nearer, to harass the king.
What if he took with a bishop instead of knight?
What if I take with the bishop?
Then we
You
lose the
don't
pawn
have the,
in
yeah, you
d5.
don't, d5 pawn, h7 pawn is lost.
Yeah, even d5 pawn is lost. So
No, d5 is not lost.
okay,
You
got it.
have this right. Yeah, so we lose the pawn maybe, but g5 is very promising for white. So Yates had, like, when he played with the knight, he had in mind some calculation like g5 there. So he was thinking to put a knight here. Okay, and let's say if I cut from here, I cut from here. He cuts here. He takes the bishop and he takes the queen. Then Yates has this bishop takes pawn, attack the queen and take the pawn back with this pawn back. And this pawn, which was spearheading the attack, is that is exchanged now, right? For this pawn. Okay, so maybe he had this plans in mind. Did you follow what I said?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So this was the plan which Yates had in mind for playing with the knight and then coming to e4 so that he can play the sec and then he can take the pawn back. So this is not a sacrifice of the pawn, but he is planning to take the pawn back on his next move itself. Okay, we are on the 16th move. Fine. So yeah,
Yeah.
Alekhine played that. He played knight takes knight. Yates played pawn takes knight. Bishop takes e4. Bishop takes bishop. Queen takes bishop. And Yates obtained the position which he was aiming for all the time. Like when he was playing this move with knight.
Metasphere,
Yeah,
how do we have the h2 pawn again? Oh, just before the rook.
pardon.
Why do we have an h2 pawn here?
H2. Where is
We did
H2?
move it to h4, right?
I have the pawn on H4 only.
No, for me it's on h2 as well.
Okay. Okay. Can you rejoin the call? Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Strange. H2. Hello.
Haji Metasphere.
Yeah. Now is the pawn coming correctly?
You have to share your screen again.
Sure. Now is the pawn coming correctly?
Yeah, it's fine now. What?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I was explaining that knight takes f6. Why he played that? Because after g5, Yates was planning that I place a knight here. I'm not actually, if you see, there are only two pieces, like only one piece is there, and these are like one, two, three. So he was planning that, but his plan was that knight takes knight, pawn takes knight, bishop takes pawn, bishop takes bishop, queen takes bishop. So Yates is a pawn down, but he was thinking that he can play bishop takes pawn and take the pawn back because this is an attack on the queen. So he played that. But to his surprise, Alekhine also played this move, bishop e4, queen e4, and now Yates played bishop g5. Now this was the position which Yates was aiming for.
Okay.
Okay, and now your Alekhine played a brilliant move. What would it be?
Yeah, I when you gave me the week study,
Yeah.
I remember this.
Okay.
He
Now
played
you
knight
will
e6.
explain why Nike 6. Like what does it accomplish?
What does it? First, it gives way to way for a
Attack.
queen to escape and attack on bishop as well. Plus
Yeah.
one job and attack his queen as well. So it's like one stone, three birds kind of situation.
Okay. So I cannot take this with a pawn because my queen is under attack.
Yeah,
Also, I cannot take it with a rook because queen takes rook will be check. So if I do this, then it will be a check. Let's say he takes this, then also I have
queen's
this
free to go.
also. But so I cannot take it with this. Otherwise, my other rook will go. So I have to. I am like I have to take it with this rook. But now I can no, I cannot. Just a second. The queen is free to go. Yes, the queen is free to go anywhere, and he can. The queen can come out of check. Maybe you can put it here. No, and the queen is saved. So knight e6. You cannot do anything with the knight. Like rook takes e6 will also lose. Another, so you cannot take it with here, take it with here. You cannot save your bishop back because your queen is under attack. So you may, the only option is to move your queen to some place safe. Yeah. So Yates chose to move his queen to safety. Queen e7. All right. And
So
Alekhine still cannot play with this move because he will lose. Like the pieces will be exchanged. That is not what he wants. He places take this with a bishop
pawn
and pawn takes bishop. And what is his threat now? He wants to play this move
h7.
at 7. No, that is his threat. But here, let's say no pawn takes bishop. Fine. What is the problem with queen takes e6 now? No. Okay, you cannot because h7 is in danger. Okay, this is falling. Can we check this variation in h7, f8? Hmm, they search on stockfish. This is there. It's showing a plus. Queen h4. Okay, queen mate into if I play g6. I cannot stop. Okay, fine. So that's why it comes back to give check. Fine. So that he can give a check on b4. Okay, so what does he recommend? To play a5 to stop this check from coming. You saw that mate Nixon? Queen b4 check. Now there is no place to move the queen, and you have to give the queen. and this is
Yeah,
mate.
mate.
But if I play a5, then what does the computer say? The g6, f6. Fine. And then he plays king d4. So this is, it says that it is a very comfortable victory. The pawn has gone ahead and it's white should win here. So queen e6 also has the problems. Now
True.
another line was given was g6. So there would be too many options here, like g6. And here the given as rook takes pawn. Let's say you take this, then you have rook h1 check and this move. And this is gone. Or maybe this move also works. Yeah, this move also works. This move will also work. If I play here, then see. Now this move. Now you cannot prevent this mate threat. Hmm. Yeah, g6, rook takes h7. Let's say he plays queen takes e6. Then you have queen h4. Now if you exchange your queens, queen takes queen, rook takes queen, you still have this move. Yeah. So this could have happened if black had played g6. Anyway, black played h6 here in this position. This was a game move, h6. And Alekhine played pawn takes pawn, and Alekhine still cannot move his knight here. No, he cannot move anywhere the knight. So he takes the pawn, pawn takes pawn, queen takes knight. And now Alekhine plays queen to d4. So what is the threat? Queen to g7 checkmate is the threat. Okay, but another thing is that white should not exchange right now. He should not exchange right now, where the rook is actually on e6. So as per Alekhine, this was not the position he was aiming for. So he places the queen here. He threatens a mate here, and black counters with queen to e4, and now Alekhine exchanges this. Mm. But what if I just play uh, h6? Then you have this is also fine, right? H6, you have this chair. Like this could be a good attack for white. Almost
True.
game over kind of attack. G6, G7. How will you stop G7 from coming? So this could also naturally he cannot play queen takes h6. So he goes for the exchange. Like so, when you are under attack, it's natural that you try to exchange as many pieces as possible of the opponent. So he places it here, and now Alekhine plays this and king takes pawn. So we reach an end game. So with an extra pawn, what you have got from all these attacks and those things is an extra pawn, which you reach from an end game. But the position is good for white. white will certainly win. However, the rook ending has some technical difficulties which we will see. So he plays the first of all the move uh, rook d to g1, and black plays king to f6, and Alekhine moves the king to h6, and
Okay.
now king to e7. Now Alekhine activates another rook. He pushes rook to c1. So what he intends is like put another rook here and put pressure on this a6 pawn, which is looks like a weakness. So also like seventh rank, like he wanted to take the seventh rank. So sixth rank is already taken by this rook. All right. So let's take the seventh rank. So that's why Yates didn't wanted Alekhine to take the seventh rank. He places the rook here, and now Alekhine put further pressure here on this pawn. And Yates has to move, like he cannot prevent it, so he has to move a5. So what was the problem, like why can't I insert a move like this, like because it is being protected by a pawn. No, can I play this? If black played this against you, how will you punish black, Nikshan?
Let me think. Rook cross e6, pawn cross e6,
Which
rook
rook, this
h7.
one or this one?
Rook c cross
E6.
e6.
Okay,
Then rook h7.
right. So that was the problem, and so he had to move the pawn. So Alekhine further no take that you have to exchange or you will lose this pawn. So normally, like I think this is not a good move, but maybe he should have not exchange his rooks, because if you are down material, then you should not do that. But black, I don't know, maybe he was tired or so, I don't know. Rook a6, rook cut rook, and now he played a4. Like he prevented it. Maybe he exchanged because he wanted to save this pawn. So that's why he exchanged it. So Alekhine, like as you know, you should be attacking from behind the pawn. No, so what is pawns behind? If the pawn is here, then for black, then this all these are behind squares. So you should be attacking from behind when you are a rook. All right. So Yates saves his pawn with rook to e5. Alekhine brings out his king, which he has not used till now. So he is putting now the king to good use. Okay. So Yates starts to give check, check, and now he plays king to d2. Okay. So here Alekhine gives that if further he had given checks, then what he was planning. Yeah. So if further he had given checks, then he was planning to put the king here. If like he's trying to just save his pawn, like putting the rook on c5, then just play h3. Okay, then he could have like he was planning moves like putting this pawn here and then putting this here. So the king to d4. So this was his plans. But Yates played king to d7. So Alekhine played the move, this one blocking that these two pawns. So now both the pawns cannot move ahead, although there is a rook also watching over this b4 from behind. So
Yeah.
Alekhine, like Yates played king to f5. So what he wanted to do was he wanted to move here so that uh, some some of the responsibility of protecting this pawn, like if given a chance, black can protect this pawn with this, and he no longer has to defend. The rook doesn't have to defend both the pawns here. You know, also there could be a possibility that in future this king might come here and try to take this pawn. So so he played this move. No, like after rook f5. Okay, so he intend to play this move afterwards. No, after playing rook f5. Okay, then Alekhine played f4 and king f7. So both players are moving as per their. So now Alekhine cannot stand on this file. He has to choose a new file. So he can go here, but there is no scope. Like what will he do by going here? So all these are red squares. So only square that he can find a safe one is rook to h6. Okay, so Yates gives a check and Alekhine goes king b3. Like he wants to come here, and Yates now places this. So yeah, so good thinking that he is now securing his position. Like this rook attacks this one. So maybe it is a bit overworked, but looks like he has solved some of his problems now.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it prevents e4 also. You cannot now play e4. No, if I had given a chance, I would have played e4 and started my pawn rolling. This move, no, then this or this or this move. No, I would have put more pressure on black after that and this move. So it prevents all these things. F5. No, good move by black. And now Alekhine, like this is a good position, but there is one weakness here. This rook is protecting this pawn as well as this pawn, and the king is a bit away. Like if this king was here, it was good, but this king is a bit away on c7. So Alekhine immediately takes the this file, and he intends to play king to e5. Now the king comes back. You know, eh? So now we reach that same position which we had discussed, and we come to know that if d5, rook e5, then rook at rook, pawn takes rook, and then the best move is king to e2, like e7, not king to e6, because why? Because Nikshan,
Because we saw that if we come to d3 we will lose.
yeah,
So
it will come to e4, like
I
d4 will come. Now black pair has to vacate this, and this is losing for black. Okay, so let's say he comes here. So now white also cannot play d4, because if he plays d4 then black will win, right?
true.
Okay, and there is another variation, like instead of e7, like instead of going here, let's say I go here, king b4. Then also I have this variation where I take a pawn and black also takes my pawns, and we both like race for the queen, and but this is a draw, or you might face a lot of trouble for winning this like with an extra pawn, so not recommended. So that's the reason king b4 is also not recommended, and it only leads to a draw, and both the sides will queen, and the end game is won by white. Yeah. If white has that skill to convert this end game, to a queen and pawn ending, then he can. But this will be a very hard victory. You should not be playing that. You should be thinking that how to win with the least amount of effort. So, so the best move in this position, like playing, yeah, rook e5, rook takes e5, f takes e5, king e7. So yeah, so the best move is king to d3. Why? Because uh, he will wait. Like if now black plays here, I will play the king to d4, and again the same victory will come. Right. So d3 come, and black plays king to d7. So he also maintains the opposition. If black had come out ahead, then it would have been a loss for black. So that's why he maintains the opposition.
Understood.
Okay, so e4 he played, and black played f4. Obviously, he cannot take f takes e4 because this will be a straight away win for white. So now Alekhine played a brilliant move. What will be that? Next,
Elegant play.
yeah, which move he played?
E2.
King e2, right? So he played king e2, and now like now he can actually, he like, let's say black plays a waiting move, then he can still play a move like king f3. He cannot save his pawn, like white has everything under control. So that's why uh, black has to step up with this move. And now f4 and king b5. Okay, now he has to step up. But now white should not be making a mistake. Like, what will you play now? Either you will play king f3, like attacking this pawn, or you will play king f2 or king d2, d3. What will you play? Or f1? Which move will you play?
F2. F2.
F2, right? You will play f2. You will be staying near to the pawn. Other moves will be like far away from the pawn. So this one. So now, if like the problem with king f3 was that black will be winning this game now. No? And now white is forced to make a move, and he has to vacate the premises. So that's why after king e7, and so yeah, not king yet, but king f2, right? So king f2 is the right move. He's just waiting now, and now he's threatening to take the pawn. Okay, king e2, king e7. We are on move 44. Okay, this is the main line. King e7 will lose because of king f3. There is no future in king e7. This will be win for white. So king e6 is the main line, and now as he has played king e6, I will play king to f2. I'll play king to f2, and so here Yates resigned the game because let's say I go back, then there is no future. I cannot run back. Let's say I go back, no, and now I take this, but still I can take the pawn. Correct. So that's why going back is not an option. Like you take the pawn, but now black will have to make a move. He's in Zugzwang and he has to make a move. So if he plays this, then white can just take the pawn and he can win the game. Okay, let's say this is this, and now he can just go for these pawns. These 2 pawns. 2 pawns are enough for a win. All
True.
right. So yeah, this this was the game played between Alekhine and Yates from different countries. Alekhine from Russia, Yates from England. I think he's from England, right?
Yes, sir.
He's from England or from other place? Yates, Frederick Yates, chess player. Yeah, English chess
London.
master. Yeah, yeah.
London.
Fred Yates. This was the guy, Fred Yates. So yeah. So this was a very technical endgame by Alekhine, and this is still being referred to the position which we saw here. No? I will show you. Rook e5-1. This one. This is given in many endgame books. The position, this position, and the technicalities arising out of that. Like you should be reviewing this position again and again. I will recommend that you review this position again and again. Like just keep on revising. You will be like at various toppings like mind squares. Like about mind squares, right? Like this one. No, he didn't stepped on the f3. So here f3. Sorry. So here king e7. So f2. He went. If he had played king f3, then he would have played king e6. And now king f4. So no, here king f2. Right. So king f2. Why didn't play the king f3? Because he could have stepped on a mine. King takes e5, then here to lose the game. So here black would have won the game if black had stepped here. So here in this game, f3 and e5 were the mine squares. Hello,
Fun game. Fun game. Yeah, it was a fun game.
fun game. Okay,
Yeah, it
I
was.
thought this was a very brilliant move. Knight e6. This one. These are the
Yes.
diagram. Like this is like calculating one move ahead than your opponent. Like playing g4, b5, then going for these exchanges. And all these things he had calculated knight e6 at this time. At this time only when playing b5. After that, white had calculated everything which was related to it, like after what will happen after this. So bishop take f6, knight takes f6 looks reasonable. Like he will try here, and then I have this. Yates will play this move, and then I will play this move. So he calculated one move ahead than Yates. That is the
True.
magic of Alekhine. Like he calculates one move than your opponent. So yeah, Nixon. I hope you will also calculate one move ahead than your opponent in your games and
I
play
wish I
end
could.
game like Alekhine, like how we played here in
I
Rook e5.
wish.
Yeah. So this was a good training exercise, both in endgame as well as calculation. Yeah, yeah, that's it for this game. Let me stop the stream. So you can refer to this stream whenever